Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Hey everyone, welcome back. So, here's the thing about Blackpink's Jennie Kim. She's probably the most polarizing member of one of the world's biggest girl groups, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why fans can't decide if they love her or if they're frustrated beyond belief. There's one habit in particular that's caused so much division that even government officials got involved. But before we get to that bombshell, I need to tell you about something even more controversial that happened just recently on the Deadline World Tour in 2025, and let me warn you, the debate is still raging as we speak in January 2026. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the habits that make Jennie Kim one of the most talked about idols in K-pop history. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the controversy that's been following Jennie like a shadow for years, the infamous "Lazy Jennie" accusations. Now, I know this is sensitive, but we need to talk about it because it's literally dividing the fandom right down the middle. During Blackpink's Deadline World Tour that kicked off in July 2025 and is wrapping up this month in January 2026, multiple viral videos surfaced showing Jennie stopping mid-choreography during performances, particularly during their signature song, "Da-da-doo Da-da-doo." In one clip that went absolutely viral in July 2025, Jennie is seen pausing during the dance while the other three members continue, and at one point, Rose even leans in to check if she's okay. The clip spread like wildfire, reigniting the "Lazy Jennie" narrative that first emerged during their Born Pink tour. But here's where it gets really divided. Some fans are absolutely furious, saying that people are paying hundreds of dollars for tickets and deserve full energy performances every single night. One viral TikTok creator with nearly 30,000 likes said, "I have never seen an idol with a more tragic historical performance record. The other three girls are giving it their best, they are dancing, they are putting in the work, and she's just standing there. She doesn't respect you at all." That's harsh, right? But then you have the defenders who point out something crucial. In many of these clips, Jennie was actually dealing with technical issues like malfunctioning in-ear monitors. Fans who attended the concerts in person came to her defense, saying, "Seeing this in person, the lazy accusations can go away." I was like, girl, rest a bit. Another fan tweeted, "You guys need to see Jennie live instead of judging her based on what you see on TikTok." So who's right here? That's the million-dollar question that fans are still fighting about. But wait, it gets more complicated. Some netizens noticed a pattern that made the controversy even more heated. They claimed that Jennie's energy levels seemed to vary depending on where Blackpink was performing. Critics pointed out that she appeared more energetic at Western venues like Los Angeles and Coachella, but seemed to have lower energy during Asian tour stops. One viral tweet from April 2025 said, "The way you can tell which continent they're performing in based on how much energy Jennie has." Another added, "The way Jennie pulls out all the stops for the USA and European tours but never gives a flying concern about Asia is so telling." This accusation of showing favoritism to certain markets over others added fuel to an already blazing fire. But here's the thing, defenders quickly hit back with receipts. They pointed out that Jennie sources her solo outfits from local Asian brands, learns local Asian trends to excite audiences, and has been performing through health issues. In fact, some of the viral, "lazy" clips that critics used were filmed when Jennie was actually sick and receiving 4 drips but still chose to perform. The documentary, Light Up the Sky, revealed that during tours, Jennie's immunity was so low that she would develop allergic reactions to everything she touched because their sleep systems were breaking down and they weren't eating or hydrating properly for years. So is this really about laziness, or is it about an idol pushing through physical limitations that would sideline most people? Now, here's where Jennie's habits get even more controversial, and this one caused actual government involvement. In July 2024, Jennie posted a vlog titled, "A Moment in Capri with Jennie," on her YouTube channel, which got 23 million views before parts of it were edited out. The controversial moment? Jennie was filmed vaping indoors while stylists worked on her hair and makeup for a fashion show in Italy. She's clearly seen putting the device to her lips and exhaling vapor while staff members were in close proximity to her face. The internet absolutely exploded. In South Korea, where only 5% of women smoke compared to 30% of men, and where K-pop idols are held to impossibly high behavioral standards, this was massive. The terms indoor smoking and blackpink JENNIE became top trending topics on X in South Korea. Yonhap news agency ran headlines like controversy over JENNIE's indoor smoking, exhaling smoke in the face of her staff. But here's the wildest part. One internet user actually petitioned the South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs to request an investigation from Italian authorities and take strict action against JENNIE. The Foreign Ministry confirmed they received the petition. Can you imagine being such a huge star that your personal choices trigger international diplomatic petitions? JENNIE's agency, ODD Atelier, which she founded herself, quickly issued an apology. "We sincerely apologize to everyone who felt uncomfortable with JENNIE's actions." JENNIE acknowledges and deeply regrets her mistake of vaping indoors and causing inconvenience to the staff. JENNIE has personally apologized to all the staff on site who may have been affected. But even this apology divided fans. Some appreciated her taking responsibility, while others felt she shouldn't have to apologize for adult behavior. Some fans even tried to defend her by claiming it was a diffuser for respiratory issues, not a vape at all. In September 2024, JENNIE addressed the controversy in Harper's Bazaar, saying, "What can I do? If Korean people think it's wrong, I've got to make up for it. It's like, I get why you guys are upset. It's cultural, it's history. It's time. And I can't go against time." This response is fascinating because it shows JENNIE acknowledging the cultural expectations placed on her while also subtly questioning whether those expectations are fair. K-pop stars undergo years of rigorous training and are forbidden from smoking, dating, or swearing, especially in their early years. In the Netflix documentary, Light Up the Sky, JENNIE herself said, "It's really harsh. We were not allowed to drink, smoke or get a tattoo," adding that she had to endure being told that "I'm not good at stuff." So is vaping at age 28 really that scandalous, or are K-pop idols held to unrealistic standards that we wouldn't apply to Western artists? Let's talk about another habit that makes JENNIE controversial: her personality shifts. This one's actually really interesting because it reveals something deeper about who JENNIE really is. Multiple people who work with her, from producer Teddy Park to her Pilates instructor Jessie Yeo, have all described JENNIE as incredibly shy off camera. JENNIE herself admitted in interviews, "I am super shy. I was one of those people where I can't even order something on the phone. Like, I hated that. Took me a while to get this far." But the moment cameras turn on or she steps on stage, she transforms into this fierce, confident, almost intimidating presence that commands attention. In her Calvin Klein interview, she explained, "There's this blackpink JENNIE mode that I put on. When I'm off stage, I'm very quiet and shy, maybe. But that disappears when I'm on stage." Now here's where fans get divided. Some see this as proof that JENNIE is a consummate professional who knows how to perform. Others see it as evidence that her stage persona is fake or manufactured. One viral comment said, "She's acting like a badass on stage but can't even order food on the phone. Pick a personality." But honestly, isn't this just called being an introvert who's good at their job? Why is JENNIE criticized for something that millions of people do every day, act differently at work than they do at home? Her MBTI personality type reveals even more about these contradictions. JENNIE tests as an ISTP, which stands for introversion, sensing, thinking, and perceiving. ISTPs are known as virtuosos, who are practical, detail-oriented, enjoy order, and thrive when they're by themselves. They're quite aloof and have a strong need for personal space. This perfectly explains why JENNIE can be so fierce on stage but so withdrawn off it. But here's the controversial part: JENNIE also tests as an Enneagram Type 3, which is the achiever. Type 3s are driven, focused on success and recognition, highly adaptable, and extremely image-conscious. Her Instagram with over 84 million followers is a testament to this. She's constantly showcasing perfectly curated fashion choices and beauty looks. Critics say this proves she's obsessed with appearances and validation. Defenders say she's simply being strategic about her brand in an industry that demands perfection. Who's right? Both sides have valid points, and that's exactly why fans can't agree. There's also Jennie's quirky personal habits that reveal her personality. In Blackpink House and various vlogs, Jennie has been spotted multiple times taking the hoods off of plushies. Like, she literally removes the little hoodies from stuffed animals. Fans find this both adorable and weird. Some believe it shows she has a curious and creative mind, while others think it means she's telling the plushies that she accepts them for who they are, not what they're wearing. Is this profound or just random? You decide. Jennie also has a habit of playing with her hair while watching television, which psychological experts say is typically a self-soothing behavior that helps her feel calm and settled. And here's a cute one. Jisoo gave Jennie the nickname Jenduki, which comes from the Korean word jinduki, meaning sticky, because whenever Jisoo tries to wake Jennie up, Jennie becomes super clingy and needs affection. This shows Jennie's softer, more vulnerable side that contrasts sharply with her fierce public image. But let's talk about a habit that actually got Jennie in trouble during her trainee days and shows her rebellious streak. Jennie revealed that during her 6 years of training at YG Entertainment, she wasn't allowed to eat junk food. So what did teenage Jennie do? She emptied out her pillowcase and filled it with junk food, thinking this was the perfect hiding spot. Everything was going well until a staff member came to clean her room and happened to touch the pillowcase. The staff heard the crunching sound of snack bags, and boom, Jennie's junk food was confiscated. This story is hilarious and humanizing, but it also shows that even someone as disciplined and image-conscious as Jennie has always had a streak of doing things her own way, even when told not to. Fast forward to 2024 and 2025, and we see adult Jennie continuing to challenge K-pop norms by founding her own label ODD Atelier instead of staying under YG for solo activities, by taking on a controversial role in HBO's The Idol, where she performed provocative choreography, and by simply existing as a woman in her late 20s who dates, vates, and makes her own choices. Some fans see this as inspiring independence. Others see it as disrespectful to the group and the industry that made her. Speaking of things Jennie can't stand, in a hilarious 2019 Star Road interview, the Blackpink members played a game asking what each other hates most in the world. When it came to Jennie's turn, she apparently had an answer that was so controversial or inappropriate that she couldn't share it publicly. She gave Jisoo a hint with her eyes, and Jisoo could only respond, "Something is coming up on my mind," looking at her eyes. This is crazy. They ended up skipping the question entirely, with Jennie playfully hitting Jisoo on the head for not answering. What could Jennie possibly hate so much that she couldn't even say it on camera? Fans have been speculating for years. Some think it's related to the intense scrutiny and criticism she faces. Others think it might be about personal boundaries being violated by fans or media. Whatever it is, the fact that Jennie felt she couldn't share it speaks volumes about the pressure K-pop idols face to maintain a perfect, palatable image at all times. Now let's address the elephant in the room regarding the health issues that might explain some of these controversial moments. During their grueling schedules, Jennie has been open about suffering from muscular strain and severe fatigue. She revealed that in their early 20s, their sleep systems were breaking down, they weren't eating properly, and she wasn't hydrating herself. They did this for 3 to 4 years before starting their tours, and Jennie's immunity became so compromised that she developed allergic reactions to everything she touched. In recent interviews for V Magazine as we enter 2026, Jennie has been incredibly honest about her struggles. She spent an entire year after the Born Pink tour in Los Angeles working on her debut solo album, Ruby, which was released in March 2025 and debuted inside the top 10 in 19 countries, selling over 1 million copies in its first week. At the Melon Music Awards in December 2025, Jennie made history by becoming the first soloist ever to win Record of the Year, a Daesang category. Her single, Mantra, and collaboration, Like Jennie, both earned RIAA Gold certifications. So when people criticize her performance energy, are they considering that she's been working non-stop for nearly a decade with barely any rest? Here's what makes the Jennie situation so complex and why fans will probably never stop being divided about her. On one hand, you have legitimate criticisms about professionalism and consistency. When fans pay hundreds of dollars for concert tickets, they do deserve performers who give their all every single night. Other K-pop idols manage to push through technical difficulties, health issues, and exhaustion without stopping mid-choreography. Twice's Jihyo was filmed fixing her mic while still dancing perfectly in sync, and fans pointed to this as an example of what true professionalism looks like. So the criticism isn't entirely baseless. There's an expectation in K-pop for a certain level of performance quality, and when one member appears to give less effort than the others, it does affect the group's overall image. On the other hand, you have the reality that Jennie is a human being who's been working under immense pressure since she was 14 years old. She's been dealing with health issues, mental health struggles from online hate and doom scrolling, the pressure of being called YG's favorite and receiving disproportionate attention that she never asked for, and the impossible standards placed on female K-pop idols who are expected to be perfect goddesses who never smoke, never date, never age, and never show weakness. In her recent V Magazine interview as we enter 2026, Jennie opened up about turning 30 this month on January 16 Pinterest, and she's been reflecting on what it means to balance fame with authenticity. She said, "I can't believe I'm still saying this. I felt this way even before releasing my first album Ruby, but I still feel like a baby taking my first steps into the world." Jennie confirmed that new solo music is coming in 2026 Re-Edition magazine, and she's focused on exploring her vocals more deeply and continuing to blend Korean and English in her music. She described feeling like she's bringing herself to the world for the first time as a solo artist, saying, "Blackpink Jennie will always be a part of me, but you will also get to experience this new side." Blackpink's third studio album is set for release in early 2026, marking their first full-length release since Born Pink in 2022, kpopping, perfectly timed for their 10th anniversary in August 2026. The group has been performing their comeback single, Jump, during the Deadline Tour, which concludes on January 26, 2026 at Kai Tak Stadium in Hong Kong Prezi. So at the end of the day, what are we really talking about when we discuss Jennie's controversial habits? Are we talking about a privileged idol who doesn't appreciate her position and gives minimal effort? Or are we talking about a young woman who's been under a microscope since adolescence, who's fought through health issues and online hate, who's had every personal choice from dating to vaping turned into national news, and who's still managing to break records and make history? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, and that's exactly why fans will never stop being divided. Some will always see Jennie through the lens of their own expectations and feel disappointed when she doesn't meet them. Others will see her as a symbol of an idol breaking free from restrictive K-pop norms and finding her authentic self. Both perspectives are valid, and both tell us something important about how we view celebrity, perfection, and the impossible standards we place on young women in the entertainment industry. What do you think? Is Jennie a lazy performer who's coasting on her looks and popularity, or is she an overworked artist dealing with legitimate health issues while trying to maintain some semblance of personal freedom? Are the criticisms fair, or are they rooted in misogyny and unrealistic expectations? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below, and let's have a respectful discussion about this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more deep dives into K-pop controversies. See you in the next video. Annyeong.